Hello everyone, this is Big Games 12 here. I'm going to be playing a little bit of Tower Wars, and during the process of doing all this, I'm going to speak to you guys about something that is not well explained, I think, in the real world. I'm going to be talking about one of the huge epidemics. Yeah, I'm going to be going against one of the weakest things that I've already beaten, so I don't have to focus on this. And the subject I'm talking about is cancer. I know people have said this on YouTube many a times, how cancer is the worst and everything. I found that people on YouTube, from the ones that I've seen, don't really explain what cancer really is. And after that, I'm going to show you guys how it affected me, what it did, and everything. I personally have never gotten cancer, and I don't wish to have cancer. But a very close family relative had gotten the unfortunate hand of cancer. But I'd like to first explain everything, and then I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. What cancer really is it's a disease. I want to say it's a virus, but it's really not. What cancer really is, it is a living creature that grows and lives inside of you. What it does to you is what harms you and can possibly kill you. It's not like any normal disease or virus. Normally, any other disease or virus would weaken your immune system and go after your red blood cells. For cancer, it's very, very different. It targets your white blood cells. To most people who don't know what white blood cells are, a white blood cell is pretty much like the general, the head boss inside your body that helps you heal, that helps you scab up, that pretty much tells what your blood, your red blood cells to do. And having that lower down so much takes a toll on the person who has the unfortunate illness, and it also weakens their immune system as well. So it does both things instead of one. That's why cancer is so hard, and the reasoning why people can't cure it like normal diseases is because not many things in this world target white blood cells and leech off white blood cells. Pretty much what cancer is a leech. It sucks the life out of a white blood cell, and it doesn't stop. It grows, it feeds, it gets bigger and fatter. That's what kills, because once it gets bigger and fatter, it multiplies rapidly. And that's what kills people, because the fact that the more there, the more you're screwed. And also, when you have cancer, the only real way, supposedly, on how to get rid of it is between chemo or radiation. Both those things are very bad for your body. Radiation is something that kills kills everything in a small area. Pretty much kills everything, as in white blood cells, anything. That's what kills. Because when you can't physically fight off anything, you're susceptible to gaining more illnesses. That's why having cancer is so bad. Because if you are cured from cancer, you survived against cancer, great. But your immune system's now very, very weak because of the cancer. Because of the chemo or radiation. What hurts people the most is trying to bounce back or staying positive about it. Because when you have cancer, it literally sucks the life out of you. And I'm not going to be here pouting about how just having cancer is a horrible thing in its own, because it is. Everybody knows that. I'm just trying to explain to you guys how bad it is, and then I'm going to relate it to my personal life. And that's what really cancer is. It's just a creature that sucks pretty much your life out of you. It's hard to hear, it's hard to see, but it's a sad factor. And I just told you about radiation. Chemo is worse. Radiation targets one part in your body, which ideally it's better than radiation. Chemo. What chemo does is pretty much says, okay, this person has it, but we really can't find it, so let's just kill a lot of stuff in the bodies. And what chemo is, pretty much, it's like radiation. It kills all. It kills everything, but it's in all around your body, kind of thing. So you're kind of stuck. So having both of those is bad for you, and the fact that you have to take several treatments to cure it or possibly cure it is the worst thing to have. Because A, it's incredibly expensive, and B, it just isn't good to have in your body, because now your body is radiated, and other problems can be caused afterwards.
To the death.
Now that I've told you, I think, about almost all the things that I know about it, I will tell you guys now about how I've had the unfortunate situation of having someone die from cancer. This is not an easy story. It's happened years ago, but it feels just like yesterday. For people who have had cancer, my heart goes out to you. If you survive it, you are extremely lucky. I'm not even trying to be mean there. It's very hard to beat cancer. I'm trying to be positive and tell people the warning signs of it. Well, not even warning signs. I have to say that, actually. I do know a couple more things. You can sometimes predict when you might have cancer, but it's not 100%. It could just be a tumor. Sometimes you feel like little lumps on your body. It could be cancer, or it could be just a tumor. You really don't know until your doctor does a blood test. That's the only way you can tell for sure. And even that might not be 100%. Because for it to be substantial, for the doctors to find it, it has to be already big and growing rapidly, which means you're not doing too well. Which means the cancer can sit in your body doing whatever it wants until it gets big enough where it can be detectable. Which, in my mind, is a scary, scary thought. Your life is only to you as long as you can have a good will. And by will, I mean have a will to fight. Have a will to say, I can kick this. This is not going to kill me. That, in my opinion, is the most crucial thing you need to have when you're going through cancer.
Onward to victory.
Because without that,
as close as you can get, right?
It's going to destroy you. You need to have a very positive will. It can't be negative or anything, or it will chew you up and spit you out. And I'm saying this like it's a disease and everything, but this is the scary part. You can't catch it. Well, it's actually the most good part. You can't capture it. You can't catch it. It's nothing you can catch. It's something that you just get. Which to some people might be a sigh of relief, some people it might not. In my opinion, it's a sigh of relief and not. Because you're still scared for your life. Because you can get it whenever.
Give 'em hell, troops!
So now that I've bit your ear full... Bit your ear? What am I saying? Now that I've told you about the bad stuff and everything, I'm going to relate it to something that's sad and personal. If you guys want to listen to this, please. But if you're afraid of what you're going to hear, please leave my video now. It may be a little too much for you. Because it was way too much for me when it happened. I don't mean to harm anybody or make somebody feel like crap, but please, I'm doing this to raise more awareness about this. Even though it's already a huge thing. But I'd like it to become bigger and stronger awareness. So hopefully we could find a cure. Because right now, the way we have to cure ourselves is not really healthy for us. It's not good for us. So I'm gonna say it again. If you don't want to feel horrible or sad, this is not the video for you. This is kind of an educational video for you, for some of you. I know I'm doing it in a game, but this is the only way I feel will connect most people when they can hear it and see something nice and good at in the background. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm trying to scare them. I'm just giving you information. I'm making you feel aware. I'm making you have the knowledge. So when it does happen to you, or if it doesn't, or somebody in your family, whatever, you're prepared. You know what you know what you can do. Because what you can do is be there for them. Be their rock. Always say, never give up. Stay strong. Giving them that motivation might not seem like a lot, but it means everything to a person who's going through cancer. Because that's the defining statement for them. The fact that you're there supporting them when they need you most. I wish I had this mentality when the person that had died from cancer for me had this, but I didn't. And every day I regret not giving him enough attention, not giving him the right feelings and everything. It's so hard to have somebody die from that and then you learn your lesson. But sometimes it has to happen that way. I don't expect this to go through to everybody, but if at least one person can see the reasoning for what I'm talking about, then that's all that I need. And I'm not doing this for sympathy or people to watch it just because I'm a good speaker or whatever. I'm doing this for your information purpose because people need to know this. Right now, I'm going to tell you about my grandfather. My grandfather was a nice, great man, and to tell you right off the bat, he never smoked or drank in a day in his life. But I'm not going to tell you everything about him, but he was an amazing grandfather. He was an idol to me that I now realize. I wish he was still alive for one more day so I can show him and tell him every little thing about him, how he's helped me in tremendous ways. Here's the story of my grandfather getting liver cancer. At the time I was at school when I heard that my grandfather was in hospital. At the time nobody knew that he had cancer, but he was in the hospital for a knee injury. As he was in that hospital, they did a lot of tests on him and everything, and they noticed a little something in his liver. At first they didn't pay much attention to it, but as he stayed in the hospital longer and longer, he became more ill, more hurt, more susceptible to a cold. And that gave them kind of the sign that something's
Knights at your service.
dangerous is going on right now. So they did further tests, and they realized that he had gotten liver cancer. And I'm cutting up the stuff right now because I don't know exactly the 100% how or why. This is from knowledge that I was given from somebody. My part comes in a little later. But having heard my grandfather was in the hospital hurt me. So my parents and my brother and I had gone to the hospital to see him. And this was at first when they didn't really suspect much about the cancer. And of course I was a little kid, probably where I was around, what, I think 8 or 9. And I was kind of making a little joke with my grandfather. I said, what happened to your knee? Why are there staples in it? His reaction was, oh, the doctors hated me. They had to shoot staples in my knee. I knew he was joking around, but just hearing that little nonsensical joke rose my spirits about being in the hospital, because he knew how deathly afraid I was in a hospital. He knew I wasn't. He knew I was afraid of blood and just hospital in general. And so we talked and we left. About a week went past, and that's when I heard my mother tell me about the big news. Heard that, oh, your grandfather's still in the hospital, but now for a new reason. I'm like, okay, how bad is it? She said it's extremely bad. He has cancer. At the time, I didn't really know what cancer was. I just had a vague idea of what it was. But coming through to now,
See how they like this.
I wish I did. When I went into the hospital, and I looked at my grandfather, he looked pale, sick, horrible. And being an 8 or 9-year-old kid, not knowing what was going on to him, scared the living hell out of me. I didn't want to go near him. That's what I believe is what killed him. So he's been in the hospital for about, what, maybe 6 months. Then all of a sudden I hear a little thing from my mother saying he passed cancer. He no longer has cancer. And I was relieved. I didn't know much about it, but I was happy. About maybe 2 more months went by. He was home, but he wasn't really like himself, always energetic or happy. He was more sitting on the couch, being mopey a lot, which I didn't realize. That's kind of what happens to you when you have radiation, or chemo. You're not yourself after that. But I remember one thing before another epidemic happened. This one little thing that I loved to hear about from my grandfather. All we did was this one little thing that meant the world to me. But I didn't even know it back then. Now that I realize it, it meant the world to me. I wish I could have known or done something, but again, I was a little kid who had the whole world behind him, who had the whole world in front of him. All we did was share eating a pomegranate together. And that small little thing, I was enjoying, I was happy, I wasn't afraid of anything at that time. Just having a simple pomegranate with my grandfather was the most happiest thing in my life. I'm coming to realize it now. But that happiness didn't last so long. I get a call from, I get a call in school hearing, "Oh, Victor Silva, can you come to the principal's office?" At the time, I thought I was in trouble. I thought somebody got mad at me because I might have pushed them or something like that. I don't know. I see my mother there, crying, moping, looking like a wreck. And the principal's there too. My mom, she really couldn't even speak to me. So the principal was the one who told me, "Victor, son, your grandfather, has cancer." And I'm sitting back going, "What do you mean he has cancer? He cured it." The principal says again, "He has cancer. I don't know much about it. I didn't ask because your mother wanted to tell you herself." So my mom takes me out of school early. And she explains he got his cancer again. It was the same thing, cancer of the liver. And at that moment, my whole world went upside down. Because after my grandfather had gotten cancer, I did a whole bunch of research about what cancer was and what cancer did. And my grandfather played it off so well, making it seem like it was nothing, when it was a huge epidemic, a huge thing. And I didn't even know that.
Let's see how they
Going
like
into
this.
his second cancer in the hospital, seeing him there, he looked like, and I'm not kidding, he looked cold. Looked like he was already dead. But hearing him talk, hearing him scream pain, a kid should never have that, should never experience that, should never see that in his grandfather. But I did. And I remember this one thing that he said that broke my heart, that made me not ever want to speak out to a person or talk to anybody. It hurt me the most. It probably hurt my mother the most too, but at that moment in time, I was gone. I didn't even like hearing it, but he said, "Oh my God, I don't want to live anymore." I hit rock bottom. I'm like, this stuff is really killing him, which it really is. But I didn't see how the severity of it until it was too late. And my grandfather started cursing out his nurses, turning pretty much into a complete stranger. So he was probably in the hospital for about 2 months. Then I hear from my mother when I get home from another day of school, your grandfather's out of the hospital. I lit up. I was so happy. He cured it again. No. I was the farthest thing from the truth. My mother then told me he's out of the hospital because the hospital can't do anything for him anymore. He's at home so he can die. He does not want to die in the hospital. Hearing that, turns your stomach to knots. Hearing that is just hard. So I would go back to my grandfather. I would see him maybe once a week. Maybe, I don't really remember the exact. And seeing him not able to move. Just sitting on his chair on his couch. And complaining. And he has a personal nurse coming to his home. And changing his diaper. Because he physically can't move. Being a little boy, seeing a grown man have a diaper and a nurse changing him kills every morsel of your being. And that's the thing. That's what hurts me the most. Seeing him like that scares me. To the point where I really didn't want to go see him. Now I realize that was the worst thing I could ever have done to my grandfather. Because to this day, I still believe in this. But I'll tell you this later. So about a month goes by, and I'm hearing I'm in the school again, getting pulled out of school, and at that point I knew something's wrong with my grandfather. Something wrong with my grandfather.
I'll patch him right up.
Going into the hospital, getting pulled out of school, hearing my mother say the one thing I never ever wanted to hear from my grandmother again. It's, your grandfather's dead. He died in his sleep on that same chair. Your grandfather's dead. My mom, I think, was looking for confirmation that I'd heard it. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything. All I could have done was just sit there, staring at the wall. My attitude toward life changed dramatically just that day. From a happy-go-lucky child to a sad, gloomy, child. I never thought I'd ever have that feeling, but I did. Going to his funeral was hard. Him having the cancer, him having cured it, him having getting it again, could not prepare me enough. Seeing him in his casket. And I'm great. Looking back at it now, it makes me feel like I'm dead inside. That if I only were to give him enough love, he probably could have survived. He probably couldn't have said that one word that killed me. I want to die. If I gave him more love and everything, I feel like I could have done something. But no. I was told by multiple people, you doing that is not what happened to him. He died because he lost the will to fight. Is what I was been told again and again and again. I don't believe that. I don't believe that he just lost will. He just lost faith, and it was my fault because I probably didn't give him enough. I didn't give him enough will to live, and I beat myself up every day for that. Seeing him in that casket, bawling my eyes out, saying, "Grandpa, no. Can't die now. You're too young. I'm too young to lose my grandfather this young." Nope. Nope. Things creep up on you. Things turn sour. Things become something you don't want. But that was sad. And it was horrible having to see him getting buried. And I said I was just gonna do my grandfather, but I'm gonna add my grandmother in now. Because it's kind of a package deal. My grandmother did not die from cancer. I can confidently say that. What she died from, I don't know. I believe it was a diabetic coma or diabetic rush, something like that. I'm not sure. But again, being called up at school, being pulled out of school, just be told that your grandmother's in the hospital. And before any of that happened, when my grandmother died, I freaking gave my grandmother so much love, so much appreciation, so much everything, to show that I loved her. I gave her enough love, in my opinion, for her and my grandfather. It was the ideal. But no. And she was the one that was with me when my grandfather died. I kept on saying, it's my fault, my fault. If I would have given him more love, he would have survived. My grandmother kept on saying, no, it's not your fault, no, it's not your fault. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe anything at that point. Then hearing her being sent to the hospital, I never felt so bad. And this was what, a year after my grandfather died. It was the worst feeling in my life. Having two deaths within a year apart? No. Seeing her at the hospital bed scared me almost as stiff as my grandfather. She looked pale, she was cursing out in Portuguese. At the time I knew some Portuguese, but I didn't know a lot. but just hearing her curse and scream at the top of her lungs, it made my heart sink. But here's the one thing that scared me the most. Saying, "Hi Grandma, how are you?" Hearing her say, "Oh, how are you?" But not looking at me. I didn't know what she was trying to do, or what was going on. My mother tells me she can't see anybody anymore. She can't see anybody anymore. What happened? Was the first thing in my mind. My mom told me something about a diabetic thing. I can't remember right now. And I says, how does that affect her eyes? It must have been something about the sugar or something like that. I really didn't care about most of the specifics, which I should have. But I was just in disarray. No one should ever feel that. Then, all of a sudden, after 2 months, I get pulled out of school again. To be told, Victor, from my principal this time, your grandmother now died. My heart dropped. I loved her with all my might. I thought that would have been enough. No.
See how they like this.
No one should ever be that afraid of that much. Seeing her at her deathbed killed me. Absolutely killed me. Seeing how cold she was, seeing her face, seeing everything hurt. But there was one tiny little light at the end of the darkest tunnel in the world. It was still a horrible day, but that one little light kind of helped me. Having my friend pull me away and say, come, we're gonna take you home. Small little gesture, nothing big, nothing small. It impacted my life forever. I still feel horrible for my grandparents, but I'm happy that my friend did what he did. Because if he didn't, I don't know what would have happened. I was afraid to even know. Seeing her getting buried was probably one of the most scariest things in my entire life. But I knew I wasn't really alone out being that hurt about it. Because at least I knew one thing, I wasn't seeing this alone. Because the friend that I had pulled me away, at least knew my grandmother a little bit. So it wasn't like I was the only person and my family was the only person. So I kind of felt a little bit better. No. Every day till that, ever since those few days from my grandmother and grandfather dying, I blame myself. Every day of every waking moment. I can't forget it. Nor do I want to forget it. I know that might sound horrible, sad even. But the more I think of it, the more it kills. The more I know I still have hope and near. I know this might not be the most happiest video, but it does show a little light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm pretty sure this video is very long. I'm sorry if it is, but I really think this was needed. And that's pretty much it. I can't really say much more. I'm beyond crying, beyond sad right now. I can't finish this. This game will still I probably will finish this game afterwards, but this is the end of the recording. I'm sorry. I can't do more.